All right, we're just gonna roll. We're gonna see how it goes. First podcast in a while. Excited about it. Just wanted to take a moment, bring you guys up to speed a little bit. Trying whole new setup. Just using my phone. Got these microphones that connect right into the phone. Giving it a shot. We'll see how it goes. We'll adjust as needed. But welcome in, y'all. This is the Eben podcast. First episode I've done since I think September of 2024. Taking some time away. It was some necessary time away. I've done this a handful of times. This time felt a little bit different. And last year was a hell of a year, to say the least. I've shared about this a little bit on other podcasts that I've appeared on in the last 6 months or so, but I went into a treatment facility last October. Just found myself totally trapped in some patterns that felt like I needed help getting out of, essentially. And that mainly had to do with cannabis and kratom, more so the kratom than the cannabis. I just felt like I was totally trapped in this pattern of belief or not knowing how to be without it. And it brought me to my lowest point that I've ever been at my entire life, to be totally honest and transparent about it. I felt completely lost. I felt like I wasn't interested in anything. And so got myself help, picked up the phone, called the people I had to call, got myself into a treatment center, and spent 30 days there doing a lot of therapy, a lot of group therapy, a lot of trauma education. And it was some of the most important work that I've done in my entire life, to be honest. To spend 30 days completely sober. When I got there and I was in the process of that, I realized that I probably haven't spent 30 days totally stone cold sober on nothing, drinking a coffee in the morning. So if you're a real purist and you believe caffeine is a drug, then, stop listening. But, I'd have a coffee in the morning and that was it. I was on breath, I was on meditation, I was on therapy, I was on just in the moment, in total presence. And I thought to myself when I was there, I probably haven't been stone cold sober for a 30-day stretch since I was about 18 years old. Give or take, maybe 21. There had always been something: alcohol, weed, painkillers, mushrooms, something. And it was a life-changing experience to go and do that. It was a totally necessary experience for me. Some of you guys may know I've been sharing a little bit about sobriety. It's an absolute work in progress. Interestingly, I'm a person who I love altered states of consciousness. I love being high, quote unquote. I love changing my perception of reality through substances. I really do. So going on this journey, it's certainly been an interesting meditation experience of learning how to be with myself just as I am, which is a really powerful experience. That's been the most important thing I've done here over the last 8-9 months. Since going into treatment, coming out of treatment, and It's been an interesting journey. At first, it felt totally hopeless. It felt like, why am I even doing this? What's the point of any of it? And, that certainly subsided. I found my love for things again. I found interest. I found the energy to do this podcast again, which, I never would have said I'm done doing the podcast. Let's let's face it, this is my bread and butter. This is why all of you are here, because of this podcast. And I love it. And I love to share my experience in with the intention that perhaps it shows someone else out there who might be struggling with something similar to what I've struggled with, that there is certainly a light at the end of the tunnel. You can get to the other side of that adversity. And so, anyway, the ebb and flow is going to probably look a little bit different going forward. I'm looking at doing shorter episodes, keeping these to 30 to 45 minutes, maybe. Every once in a while, we'll have a guest. I'm always interested in having guests on who can share experiences and insights and knowledge that can expand and grow our own foundation, mine in particular, people who I'm interested in talking to. So we're going to do that, but mostly it's going to be this. It's going to be me hopping on here, giving you a 30-minute hit. I've uh, I've been meditating a lot, an hour a day, for the last few months, steadily increasing that intensity. I've been doing a lot of deep inner work, which is simple stuff. I'm not talking about going and doing ayahuasca ceremonies or going deep with the mushrooms or any sort of plant medicine. This has just totally been my own going into myself in meditation, in prayer and contemplation, sitting in silence, being in silence. And there's a lot that's emerged in that. One of the reasons I felt so burned out at the end of last year, going into the end of last year, was that it feels like the world, and when I say the world, more specifically, I mean the world of social media, the perceived world outside, seems like it's moving really fast, and it's moving in a direction that I'm not really interested in participating in anymore. Everybody's a fucking expert. Everybody's a guru. Everybody's got some master plan or the 5 bullet points on how to optimize yourself or your morning routine. And I'm really sick of that. Like, I've spent my entire life working on optimizing myself, and it landed me in a treatment center, And so, what I'm really interested in, what I've been really interested in, is learning how to be a better human being. Because none of it really matters. It doesn't matter if you're outside sunning your butthole every day, or you've done 1,000 ayahuasca ceremonies, or you meditate for 10 hours a day, or whatever the thing is that you think gives you an edge on the people around you. It's a complete fucking illusion. There's no gaming the system. There's no escaping our humanity. There's no magic bullet that's just going to make you a better person in your relationships with the people in your life, with your friends and family, your community. All of it, the only thing that matters is where the rubber meets the road in the direct communication, interaction, perceived conflicts that arise between you and the people in your life. I've said that 1,000 times, and it continues to be true. How much inner peace do you have? What's your capacity for dealing with adversity, be that annoyance, friction, frustration, anger, resentment? What's your capacity for dealing with human emotions that will come up ad infinitum, no matter how much stuff you do? This stuff is always going to come up. We live in a really crazy time right now. It's crazy out there, dude. Crazy. Not much of it has anything to do with you. I would be willing to bet. Not much of it. The only way out of this thing is to learn how to control what we can control and stop losing ourselves in the myriad plethora of distractions that exist outside. The politics, the Trump stuff, the Musk stuff, Republicans, Democrats, red, blue, gender ideology, food ideology. Everything has just become this political shitstorm. And for the most part, frankly, none of it is political. How you eat, your nutrition, it's not a political topic. If you choose to move your body, where you choose to live, how you choose to live, it's not a fucking political topic. It's a topic of how you're choosing to live your life as a human being. It has nothing to do with politics. And yet, our culture has been so radicalized that everything is completely political. And in that, so many people are walking around blaming their circumstances, their situation on external forces. The fact of the matter is, no thing, no one outside of yourself has any control over your will. So, if you believe that something outside of you has control over your will, over the decisions that you're making in your life, you have to begin to recognize that you are choosing to give your power to someone else outside of you. Because nothing outside of you has power over your will. That is your God-given gift, your instrument of creation to create the life that you want to live. A really powerful and important realization that I've come into: there's no co-creation with God. God exists. This is an infinite, eternal, creative ocean that we live in. God's going to give you whatever you want. You are the creator of your life. So what thoughts are you thinking? What feelings are you giving energy to? What actions are you taking? What are you concentrating your energy on? Your willpower on? These are the questions you have to start asking yourself. And then, are you living compassionately? Are you living with kindness? There's a lot of shit out there I don't agree with. Tons of it. However, the way I choose to handle most of it is with compassion. Now, the line gets crossed when someone comes into my field. Now, that's my personal field. That's not my fucking social media presence. That's not on social media. You're scrolling through the stuff and somebody's video pops up and they say something that you disagree with. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about someone crosses the line into my personal atmosphere or my family's atmosphere, and they try to start asserting their ideas on the people around me or myself. That's when the line gets crossed and something has to be done about it. We take action. We mobilize against that conflict. Other than that, we got to learn how to be more compassionate, man. Across the board. Holy fuck, dude. Because so much of social media has just become this fucking judgmental, critical melee of nonsense. And it's not helpful. It's not helping us get to the next place. Be sure it is a certainty that we are in a phase of evolution right now, as we've always been, but this is a massive transition we're going through. This is the Aquarian age, the age of Aquarius. Some call it the evolution into New Earth. The New Earth, that whole thing, that's a real thing. The vibration is changing, the frequency is changing. It's getting higher, it's getting faster. Us as human beings, as physical beings, we must evolve and adapt to that new frequency. And what does that look like? That's more kindness, more compassion, but more focused and concentrated energy on the things that really matter and less time spent in all the fucking distractions. Aliens, reptilians, the Epstein files, none of it matters. It's all a distraction. It's all a vortex of energy that's trying to suck you into it to continue to perpetuate itself. That's all it is. It has no impact on your life. Really doesn't. So what your task is right here, right now, today, in this moment, your task is to continue to tune your instrument, to become the best version of yourself you can possibly be. Now, that doesn't mean you've got to be David Goggins and you've got to start running 10 miles a day and fucking kill yourself at the gym. No. But you got to start bringing the mind, body, spirit into alignment. You got to start purifying the body temple, getting your heart right, getting your mind right, creating harmony in yourself, increasing your capacity to endure adversity, change, because it's coming. It's all happening right now. The change, it never stops, dude. It never stops. One of the gifts I'm truly grateful for is my ability to completely and utterly surrender over and over again to the changes that are happening inside of me. And it is fucking uncomfortable as fuck. But I'm grateful for my ability to do it. I don't know where that comes from. Maybe it's from the life I've lived, the journey I've taken, all the adversity, all the pain, and I've just learned that the only way through it is to surrender to it. Perhaps it's come through a lot of practice, but I'm really grateful for that gift, and it serves us well. Get good with change, learn how to surrender to it, and then you can operate at the level in the way that best serves the situation over and over again. And I don't know if we never get anywhere. The only place we're getting is to a more purified and clear version of self, where there's fewer and fewer veils of illusion clouding our perception of reality. That's the only place we're getting to. There's no destination. There is no mountaintop. There is no goal. There's no trophy. There's none of that stuff. Any and all of you listening to this, you've all achieved incredible things in your life. Think about it. You've achieved the A on your report card. You've achieved the first place trophy and the thing that you worked your ass off for. You've achieved getting the job, getting the car, getting the partner, all these things. You've achieved it. And yeah, they're great. They're great. But you know that feeling of the day after. Fuck, an hour after. You get the trophy, you've achieved the thing, you celebrate, man, it's so great, you did it, you achieved your goal, you realized your vision, and what happens? The next day you wake up and the movie is still going. Life keeps going. Life keeps happening. It keeps moving on. It's another day. People look at you like, okay, what are you going to do today? There's a saying in the NFL. A, it means not for long. And the other thing is that it's a what have you done for me lately league. You could have been a fucking all pro last season. This season, if you got hurt and you're playing like shit, everybody's looking at you like, what's the deal, bro? What's wrong with you? What happened? Same thing in life. Same thing in life. And so the only thing that's constant is change. And then we've got to get really good at allowing the perceived destination to just be that we're getting to a more pure, more clear version of self constantly. That's the only place we're working towards. That is a perpetual destination that's constantly emerging anew. through the meditation, through the breath work, through the presence of being, presence of mind, presence of heart, how you're showing up in your relationships, your steadiness, your willingness to expand and cultivate patience. So, guys, it's going to be, we're in it together, you know. Who knows where it's going to go? The next 10 years, the next 5 years, the next 2 years going to be really interesting. As one of my coaches in college said, you know, when you watch the tape is never as good as you think it's going to be, and it's never as bad as you think it's going to be. And I think life right now is a lot like that. We've got a lot of shit going on. There's a lot on the table with government politics, with the perception of imminent war on various fronts, AI, all this stuff, technology. My belief is that it's not going to be as good as you think it's going to be. It's not going to be as good as you think it could be, and it's not going to be as bad as you think it could be. It's going to be somewhere in the middle. And the best thing that any of us can do is work to cultivate peace and harmony within ourselves and become the best version of ourselves that we can possibly be. The clearest, most pure, most available version of ourselves that we can possibly be. So with that, I'll let you guys go. Really excited to be back on the mic. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, as always. And we're going to keep this thing rolling, man. The Ebb and Flow podcast is back. It's alive and well. Sending lots of love to all of you. And I'll see you guys on the flip side. Peace.